I have played Yasuo since his release. He's never really been my main champion, but in pretty much every season that I have played League of Legends, Yasuo has seen around 50 to 100 games from my side. Not as much as Gangplank, Renekton, Tryndamere and Udyr, which I tend to play a lot more, but still a significant amount. I've always liked him. He's fun and challenging, and his playstyle is rewarding. I've never been frustrated playing against a Yasuo either, because I know of a way of always beating him. This, however, is not a popular opinion. For over 10 years, the general agreement from the player base around Yasuo is that his kit is overpowered, he's annoying to play against or with, and his player base consists of toxic players. His ban rate reflects that. Ever since his release, he's been one of the most banned champions ever, always hovering around 20%, which is really high. League players hate Yasuo, but he's one of the most played champions. So let's dive into that and explain why that is. Are there legit reasons to hate this champion? First of all, we need to understand that there are two Yasuo players. The ones that are insane on him, play him to perfection, and will make you feel like you have no chance in the game. This Yasuo is very rare. And then we have the other Yasuo player, the one that barely understands his kit and plays Yasuo because they think he's broken and a free win. They don't understand his limits and they will die over and over and over again by playing way too aggressive. The Yasuo 0-10 power spike meme is there for a reason. This is the experience around Yasuo for most players. In short terms, his skill ceiling is both a blessing and a curse. There are no lies with Yasuo. With him, you are either a good enough player or you are a bad player. There is no hiding that fact. There is no in between. A very complex kit that consists of a passive shield with a double crit mechanic, a short range stab on a low cooldown with a long range skill shot, a wind wall against projectiles, low cooldown dash movements on minions, and a pretty mediocre ultimate. If you read the opinions from people about the champion, the vast majority of players who hate him do that because of his wind wall. The ability to block anything that is a projectile is a very powerful ability. It does not matter if that ability is a basic ability or an ultimate. Imagine you are playing Misfortune and you find the perfect angle for an ult in the last teamfight, and it gets blocked by Yasuo wind wall. You would feel pretty sad and think to yourself, wow, that's unfair. However, you knew that he could do that. It's the same situation when a Veigar uses his ult on a Tryndamere with his ult running. You knew that he was not going to die, you still threw your ult. You can't get mad after the fact. The truth around Yasuo's wind wall is that the hate comes from a lazy approach to League of Legends by the average player. A good player baits the wind wall first and then uses their skill shots. The wall has a very long cooldown, and the average Yasuo is very bad at holding that wall. They throw it for anything. With that information in mind, it's a very easy spell to play around. A lot of people who struggle against Yasuo are the ones who play on autopilot. They don't actually think too much about the game state, and they just react to everything as it happens. If they snap out of it and actively starts playing, they would see a champion that can only play aggressive by walking or dashing forwards when he's going to be in poke range and in damage range. I can accept the frustration with the wind wall, even though I don't understand it. Some people maybe just want to play their favorite champions without worrying about their skill shots suddenly not existing anymore. Yasuo's teamfighting is not that good either. He needs a really good setup from his team to work properly. A Malphite, a Wukong, an Alistar. If nobody on his team can activate him properly, Yasuo becomes even more useless. Final reason for why people still hate this champion so much has nothing to do with the champion itself. Any champion can be picked, any champion can perform badly. Yasuo players lose a lot on average, and Orianna players lose a lot on average as well. But one of them is way more likely to have main character syndrome and act out against their own team just because they are performing badly. But despite them being toxic, you should not pay them any attention. You should just remember that at the core of the problem, they are actually mad with themselves, even if they don't say it. If they lose with Yasuo, it's because they simply were not good enough. There is no way around it. A better Yasuo player could have performed better, and that's why they are so bothered and project toxic comments towards everyone. If you simply don't respond or pay them attention, you can just watch as they pressure cook themselves to insanity. I fully expect Yasuo to keep the stigma around him for another 10 years, and I've come to accept it. He's always going to be fun to me, and that's all I can ask for. Let me know your thoughts about why Yasuo is so hated. Why do you hate him? Share them in the comments below, and thank you guys for watching.